All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again. First, I want to say is salute to President Donald Trump, because we all, especially if you're watching this, especially we all know that this man has been getting treated unfairly by this corrupt judge, Juan Merchan, who should never presided over this case. He pretty much told the jurors to convict Donald Trump. We ain't stupid, we heard him. And stuff like this just pisses all of us off. But I'm telling you now, this crap is going to backfire, which it had already then started backfiring. Because look at all the money that Donald Trump, has raised so far. You know what I'm saying? You had one person that donated millions of dollars to Donald Trump, to showing his support. You even got people that was Democrats are saying, you know what, forget this. They saying they don't like Donald Trump, but he's been treated wrong and they don't like it, because if it can happen to Donald Trump, it can happen to you. It can happen to you. So like I said, this right here is just crazy to me. Now, I don't know how true it is, but a lot of people have been saying that, Melania she haven't been wanting, Donald Trump to constantly keep speaking about the situations, about this judge because of the gag order situation. She don't want him to go to jail and stuff because of the gag order situation. And, with Donald Trump, you know what? I'm kind of happy that he's doing these interviews, because, he's speaking to the people. He's speaking to the people that supports him. So we all want to hear from Donald Trump. And we can also see it from Melania's side. That's her husband. She don't want him to, to end up saying something, because it's already a crooked judge in place that's trying to lock Donald Trump up. And she don't want him to, end up saying the wrong thing. So like I said, but I definitely wanted to check this out. This interview, they saying that he did with Fox, they said that Donald Trump admitted that, hey, if they gonna send me to jail, send me to jail. I don't care. Look at the fight that's in this man. It's the fight that this man cares about the people. He cares about the country. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Make sure y'all please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the one who always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that does that. I appreciate all of you. So like I said, as you coming in, please hit that like button. And let's go ahead and listen to this interview, and let's hear what President Trump had to say.
Well, look, I'm fighting for the Constitution. I'm fighting for the same thing that you three. I watch you all the time, and same thing that you do. You fight for freedom. You fight for your country. These people are sick. They're sick. They're deranged.
Yep.
I talk about the enemy on the outside and the enemy from within. So you have Russia, you have China. But if you have a smart president, you always handle him quite easily, actually. We have a lot of advantages. But the enemy from within, they are doing damage to this country. They want open borders. They want high interest rates. They now want to quadruple your taxes. Quadruple. All my life I watched politics, and it was always like politicians want to lower taxes, not quadruple them. There's a whole sickness going on right now. So we're doing really well. It was a tough venue. We tried to get out of the venue. We tried to get out of the judge, but we tried to get out of both. Wouldn't even think about it. So we had probably maybe the worst area in the whole country for me, in terms of vote. I'm sure if I sat down and explained it to that section of the world, we could probably make progress. But one of the worst sections, and they always bring them in these sections, D.C., there, places where Republicans, not just me, Republicans get like virtually no votes. But the good news is that I think we've set a record beyond all records for fundraising. That's like a poll.
Yes.
And another one just came out just before I got in that we're 6 points higher than we were before. So I don't know if that holds up. I mean, I'm just not sure. But people get it. It's a scam. And the Republican Party is really, they've stuck. They stick together in this. They see it's weaponization of the Justice Department, of the FBI. And, that's all coming out of Washington. You may think it's brag. Take a look at who opened the case. I'm not allowed to talk about it because I have a gag order. I'm probably, I guess, the first presidential nominee and the leading crooked Joe by a lot, that's not allowed to talk.
That's crazy.
Maybe they're doing me a big favor. Who knows? But I'm not allowed to talk. I'm gagged. Nobody's ever heard of it. It's all coming out. It's weaponization, and it's a very dangerous thing. We've never had that in this country. They do have it in other countries, in South American countries. You know a little bit about it, right?
Well, that actually leads me to my question. I think for a lot of Americans, what's happened to you feels foreign. Like this has never happened here before.
Yeah.
But for Hispanic Americans, people coming from Latin America, this feels very familiar.
Yeah.
And in those countries, people are imprisoned. Instead of going to the ballot box and fighting there, they're on house arrest. They're told they can't run for office. What is your message? And by the way, I think a lot of Hispanic Americans, I hear from them, they're scared about what they see. What's your message to them about what happened to you and about how scared they are that our country is turning into the countries that they left behind, the corrupt, dysfunctional countries they left behind?
And they are scared, and they're great people, very entrepreneurial, great energy. And as you know, I'm doing very well with them. I mean, beyond anybody, I don't think anybody's ever had polling.
Do you think this is why, a little bit?
I think a little bit. And they've always liked me, and I've always liked them. I've done well from the beginning. In 2016, I won the entire border along Texas, and they're all like 85%. And it's been great from the beginning, and now I'm leading. I think I'm leading over this guy that can't put two sentences together, that's destroying our country. Look, he's the worst president in the history of this country, and he's a danger to the country. And, they have misinformation. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. It's just words. He doesn't even know what it means. But it's like their slogan, I'm a threat to democracy. I'm the opposite. They're the threat to democracy.
Mr. President, I want to return to the verdict, and I want to explore something you've said several times already in the conversation. You've referenced these people. I'm sure you've seen the video of Joe Biden when he was asked about the verdict, and he gave sort of a smirk to the camera.
Terrible. Remember, Bragg didn't want to do the case. He came out. He said, there's no case, and how can you have a witness like so-and-so? I'm not allowed to mention the name. Can you believe this? This guy's allowed to have shows, television shows. I'm not allowed to mention the name. It's so unfair. But regardless, you have to really play the hand that you're dealt.
This
and
is
then
crazy.
You had a jury that was, from a certain persuasion. Would have been hard to do no matter what. But I did absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, absolutely. Think of it. I hate when they say a bookkeeping, this and that. It's not. It's called, think of it, expense. I use the word expense. Legal expense. I pay a lawyer. He wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer at the time. I pay a lawyer, and he's a lawyer. It's called legal expense. A bookkeeper, without ever speaking to me, because she did the right thing, who's been with me for years, marks it down as legal expense. In other words, I paid a legal expense. It's marked down as a legal expense. And they say that's a fraud. What am I going to call it? Did you ever see a ledger? Do you ever study accounting? The line's like about an inch long and an eighth of an inch wide. You can't write the story. But there is no story. If you pay a legal expense and you write it down as a legal expense, and then they indict you and they go to a grand jury, and they don't use Bob Casella's testimony. They use almost none of it. They didn't want him before the grand jury because he's very persuasive. This judge didn't want him to talk. They shouldn't have allowed certain people to testify. It was totally wrong that they did that. So everyone tells me this is the easiest case they've ever seen to overturn, but they don't care because they want to last till after the election. Now, the only problem they have is that so far my poll numbers have gone up. You explain this to me because I don't. Pete maybe can explain it. Maybe Will. I don't know. Maybe Will can. They're smart in Texas, right? But the poll numbers have gone up substantially. I don't know if that's going to remain that way.
You changed your tone at some point during the trial. I would say maybe a bit more hopeful in the beginning, and then towards the end you said something to the effect of even Mother Teresa couldn't be acquitted.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Was there a moment in the trial that you felt like it turned, or you saw that it was headed in a certain direction?
Well, when you object to something, your lawyers object, good lawyers, professional lawyers, good records, nice people. I've had a lot of lawyers that weren't nice, and sometimes you're better off that way. These are really fine people. They'd object. Not accepted, not accepted, not accepted. When the government, meaning the DA, Bragg, when he said something, all right, good, that's fine. Go ahead, more. But the main thing is this, that this was turned down by the Southern District. This is over years. This could have been brought 7 years ago. They tried to rush it. because they wanted it before the election. But this could have been brought 7 years ago, but they didn't have any intention. A case like this has never been brought before. And there's never been a case where a state has gone after a federal election. In other words, that's for a federal. That's for like the Southern District to go. Southern District turned it down. We got clearance from the FEC, Federal Election Commission, clearance. They're suing, saying we violated a thing, but they gave us clearance. But the charge was written, I mean, it was like a weird charge.
This right here, this right here is just crazy. Like, this corrupt judge put a gag order on Donald Trump, which this gag order is still ongoing. So Donald Trump cannot mention Michael Cohen's name. This man gets to start a TV show. This man is on TikTok wearing T-shirts with pictures of Donald Trump behind bars. He constantly slandering Donald Trump. He get to go on CNN and talk crap about Donald Trump, but Donald Trump can't even say his name. Donald Trump can't even say nothing back. That right there is just straight bull. That is bull. How is Michael Cohen allowed to constantly slander Donald Trump and say all these things about him, but Donald Trump cannot say his name? That just goes to show you how corrupt it is, because if this judge were fair, he would put a gag order on Michael Cohen and say, Michael Cohen, you cannot say anything about Donald Trump if you're going to put one on Donald Trump and say that he can't say nothing about Michael Cohen. So this judge is one-sided because he know that Michael Cohen is still going around talking crap about Donald Trump, running his mouth, still on TikTok running his mouth, and Donald Trump can't even defend himself. That's why a lot of people, are waking up. They see the crap that's going on. They see how one-sided this is. While all the Democrats think they happy right now with all this smiling, think Joe Biden is just going to walk across the finish line. I got another thing for you. He ain't walking across nothing. I can tell you that. Joe Biden ain't walking across nothing. He can have that little smirk on his face all he want. He know he cannot beat Donald Trump fair and square. He's losing in the polls, and right now they are desperate. They are just trying to just find anything that's going to try to help Joe Biden. But the more they attack Trump, I don't know how many times I got to keep saying this, the more they attack Donald Trump, the more his numbers rise in the polls. And Joe Biden is constantly imploding. Joe Biden is done. That's why he got that little smirk on his face, because he's sending all these people at Donald Trump, Alvin Bragg, a case he wasn't even going to bring, but all of a sudden now Donald Trump running for president, now he want to bring it. Here come Fannie Willis. Here come Letitia James. Here come Jack Smith. All of these people that's been at the White House of support of Joe Biden, and all of them are going after Donald Trump all at one time. That ought to tell you something. That ought to tell you something. And then you got Jack Smith over there in Florida. He trying to force Judge Aileen Cannon to put a gag order on Donald Trump now as we speak. This is just ridiculous. They think they Democrat. They think they can just do whatever they want. If they tell a judge something, a judge have to do it. This is just crazy.
You'd have a little of this, a little of that, do a little of this, throw a little, mix it up.
You set the arraignment date for 4 days before the RNC.
Yeah, well, that's part of the game.
It is.
Yep.
Some have suggested you could appeal straight.
Look at that. 4 days before the RNC, he want to sentence Donald Trump. Whether he gonna try to put him in jail, house arrest, whatever he's gonna try to do, he gonna do it 4 days before the RNC. You can't tell me how corrupt that is. That is ridiculous. That is just ridiculous.
For 4 days before the RNC.
Yeah, well, that's part of the game.
It is. Some have suggested you could appeal straight to the Supreme Court because of the special nature of this case. When it comes to the legal maze that you're still facing, and the judge could decide to say, hey, house arrest or even jail. How do you face what that could look like?
I'm okay with it. I saw...
If you heard what Donald Trump just said, he said, "What if you could face house arrest or jail?" He said, "You know what? I'm okay with it." The thing is that Donald Trump is saying it because he just let them know, "Hey, bring it on. I already know what y'all trying to do to me. You're trying to put me in jail. This is what you're trying to do." Because, like I said before in my last video, they want to be able to say that Donald Trump is a felon and he's a felon that's been to jail. Like I say, it don't matter if Donald Trump was to get locked up for one day. They gonna hold it against him. It's gonna be on CNN, The View over there with Whoopi Goldberg. Them, I can't see how The View even is still on. That show is just disgusting. All they do is just talk crap about Donald Trump every single day. It is just crazy. Just crazy. But they want to be able to say that Donald Trump is a felon and he went to jail. So I wouldn't be surprised if this corrupt judge tried to get Donald Trump jail time, because that's probably what he's going to be. And we all know we don't want Donald Trump in jail. But we know how desperate Joe Biden is, that that's more likely what they're going to try to go for. Because they want their headline news. Warren Machon send Donald Trump to jail for this amount of days or this amount of years. That's what they want. Just crazy.
One of my lawyers the other day on television saying, "Oh no, you don't want to do that to the president." I said, "You don't beg for anything. You just the way it is. Think of it. They have all my books. You know, they went to, for 5 years they sued me getting my tax returns, right? At the end of 5 years, they got them. The Supreme Court actually gave it to them. That was the end of it. That was it. They never found anything. They hired the best accounting firms. I had a pure gold firm. They call it a gold-rated firm. I don't know. It's supposed to be. Who knows? But with all that, for years you heard about my tax.
They never looked into the Clinton Foundation.
And they never found it. They never went all the way with the Clinton Foundation. They never went all the way with the Clinton Foundation, which is sort of interesting, isn't it? But so that could happen. I don't know that the public would stand it. You know, I'm not sure the public would stand for it. With a,
if they tried house arrest or
I think it would be tough for the public to take. You know, at a certain point, there's a breaking point.
People ask you, why do you do this? How can you do this? I mean, not to mention the rally after rally, the energy. But maybe the question isn't how do you do this over and over, but how does your family do this? All the obstacles, these are things you care about. Your ambitions for the country. What about everybody around you?
So I think in many ways it's tougher on them than it is on me. They're good people, all of them, everyone. I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time. They do that for this reason. They do that. All these salacious names.
And y'all see, like when he was talking about like Melania, she have to listen to this stuff. Because like I said before, I kind of, heard that she don't like it. She really don't want Trump to even be talking about it due to the fact that this corrupt judge is just trying to say that Donald Trump said something that he didn't supposed to say. He violated the gag order. Then he going to try to put him in jail and stuff like that. And that's what I was mentioning earlier, that Melania didn't want him saying nothing about it. And it's bothering her the more this stuff goes on. So, I mean, this is just crazy.
I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time. They do that for this reason. They do that, all these salacious names that they put in of these people. And I'm not even allowed to defend myself because of a gag order. Think of it. But they put this stuff in to create havoc. These are bad people. I know everything they're doing. I know every move they make. I get it. But a lot of people don't. But it's tougher. I think it's probably, in many ways, it's tougher on my family than it is on me.
How's Melania doing?
She's fine, but I think it's very hard for her. I mean, she's fine, but it's, she has to read all this crap.
What about Barron? People started to focus on Barron recently.
He's amazing, actually, in a certain way. He's tall, good-looking guy. He's a very good student, and he's applied to colleges and gets into everywhere he goes. He's very sought after from the standpoint. He's a very smart guy. He's a very tall guy, but he's a great kid. He's cool. He's pretty cool, I'll tell you. It's very interesting. The colleges, 6 months ago, you look at a college and you sort of want a certain college, and then you see all of these colleges are rioting.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to go to a different kind of a college, because there's plenty of colleges that we also like that are different, and they don't riot.
That's the first part of our interview with former President Donald Trump. We'll be playing it throughout the morning. Again, it was an hour-and-a-half interview. That's a 10-minute chunk. And throughout the morning, we'll be playing different portions.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian.
Wow. We definitely going to, like I said, check out more, more likely the whole interview and stuff like that, or if they was to drop like the whole entire interview, I might go live and just cover the whole thing You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It just depends on how Fox News will break down the videos. But, man, as y'all can see right here, you know, Donald Trump like, you know what? Hey, house arrest, jail. It is what it is. That's pretty much what he's saying. It is what it is. Like I said, that's the fight that's inside Donald Trump. But like I said before, it is just crazy how he got a gag order on him and he can't mention these people that is constantly mentioning him every single day, going on shows, slandering him, talking about him, and he can't say anything back. That is just crazy. Crazy. But like I said, y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.